Okay, we are live. Cool.
I fucking told you.
I summoned the DM. I did it. Hello,
We said your
Royce.
name 3 times and you showed up.
Yeah,
I fucking called it.
You Beetlejuiced it, yeah.
Hey!
He's not even saying anything. Oh boy.
Hey, DM.
Hi.
Hi. We Beetlejuiced you.
I gathered that.
It was funny because on the third time we said Royce, he showed up.
I literally had said Royce as you joined, like not even a second later.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah,
said it that
Cam
last
said
time
it, and
you
then I
popped
said
in.
it. Yeah.
All right.
I'm locking myself in the back room.
To hide from Royce.
No, I'm hiding from Angel.
Oh, just as terrifying children. Children and gingers.
All right. If I'm gonna be
I
insulted,
fear-
I'm gonna go get a bottle of whiskey.
What, DM? You know
I
I'm
mean, you're
making
welcome to go
fun.
drink, but then you get nice.
This isn't cards. Although, if Cyrus and Jacob would finally like to join us for cards, that'd be pretty great.
Hey, now that I have internet, I'll be able to.
I'll just have to hit a night
Alright.
that I don't already have something planned. So far, it's the last.
Listen,
couple
I
times
found a
it's been when I've
website that
had some
allows
time.
pictures and blank cards. Guys,
I'll be right back.
you can make
Okay.
inside jokes.
Oh.
Who's
Yeah.
ready? Who's
Yeah, but then
emotionally
I-
prepared?
Then I have to come up with something on the spot to put a blank.
Well,
card
there's
in.
still normal cards, but you can actually discard individual cards. So if you don't like cards, you can discard and get new ones. It's a cool site.
It just doesn't work well with my phone.
Yeah, Cameron's the only one who has issues with it. So if he's playing, maybe not that website. But if we kick him out, then we can play on the other one.
You know.
Listen, you went to bed early the last time, so we went on the other website. So if,
Yeah, because I had things I had to wake up and do and be responsible.
imagine.
And I'm barely walking now.
Oof.
Ankle doesn't like me.
Apparently not.
If it makes it feel any better, I've got a gnarly bruise on my inner leg.
That does not make me feel better, as my
What were
ankle
you
actually
doing with
gave
your
out on me
whip?
today.
Nothing. Like I said, I haven't been able to use it since I moved down here.
Your whip hasn't been working since you moved?
No,
You might want to consult your doctor about that.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I think they have a medication for that specifically.
Yeah.
If you guys are gonna keep this up, I got beer in the fridge. I can just go grab.
I like
No
how you're
getting
like,
drunk.
oh, I'm down in Florida. I'm lonely. I can't talk to anyone. And then as soon as you talk to us, you're like, oh man, I hate this group. I want to drink. God, I hate it here.
We
This
drove you
place
to
is a
alcoholism.
disaster.
It's called sarcasm. Chill.
No, only Cyrus can be sarcastic. Jacob, don't
Look,
you
just
know?
because I'm not fluent
Sure.
doesn't mean I don't know how to speak it.
Yeah, it's just my first language. Other people, it's their second.
Yeah, first was English for me, then it was sarcasm, then it was German, then it was Irish. I want to learn ASL.
I do as well. Haha, that rhymed. Haha, hee ha hee.
Wow.
I just
You can go
plugged my
ahead
mic.
Oh yeah, I heard 2 people said they want to learn American Sign Language.
Yes.
I do, and Maya does.
Yeah.
Maya,
Especially because
did
I'm
you know that I
my other
technically-
D&D group.
I
Oh.
know American Sign Language. I'm not fluent, but I do know.
I know how to sign my name if I remember right.
I know how to sign the curse words. I remember that very well.
Bullshit's my
easy.
favorite.
My favorite's fuck you because to people who don't know what it is, it looks like thank you.
I I don't think.
Mine
don't-
is very obvious. Everybody in the world knows that symbol.
Yeah, the middle finger.
The middle
Well,
finger.
sign language for fuck you is under the chin, very just flicking your hand up. Thank you is tap the chin and motion towards motion forwards. Easy to get them confused. Hilarious when someone who doesn't know what it is
What?
goes,
Oh, you just
what does
did
that
the
mean?
super
Oh.
kind thing to me. Oh, fuck you.
Someone pisses you off, you just, what'd you do? What does that mean? It means thank you.
I actually do have a mute player in another D&D group of mine.
Guys.
What? What?
Royce is back.
Yes. Hello, Royce. Thanks for the. So you don't say that on the stream. Thanks for the video, Royce.
Yeah, he sent me a video of how to learn sign language as well.
He sent it to me
I
first.
thought he was back because he said that. I mean, obviously he's listening. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to send
He
that.
probably just
Royce, are you
yelled.
here?
He said he's
Scream
in the
across from
bathroom.
the bathroom.
Oh.
Scream. And shout and let it out. We singing.
His mic's muted.
Oh,
So
I
it
did see
can't-
that he was typing NRP.
Oh no, he's brushing his teeth.
Brushing his teeth to get rid of all those sins.
You know, you gotta if you're a
Colgate
vampire,
Jesus
you
has
gotta
sacrificed himself.
clean your teeth before you bite.
Yeah, he's still listening.
I know you heard that.
We're involving you in the conversation. We don't want you left out.
We care.
Fenrir didn't do anything.
Jacob did, therefore Jacob must die. Cyrus could
mean-
just play Fenrir and probably get better rolls than the normal player.
Fucking stop! I don't want to hear it.
Hey!
Nat
Fenrir
20, you know.
dies.
I get bad rolls. I was insulting myself, so you settle down, mister. I know Florida's made you all hostile and stuff, but you need to settle down.
I mean, we know you're
Speaking of
becoming
which,
a
where's
Florida
Trent?
man.
Where's
Being near,
Trent?
he's coming to your house. You guys agreed to do an in-person game, right?
That'd be fun.
Where you show your
Oh, he's grounded.
toes.
Ah. What did he do? Send toe pics to his parents by accident?
Gross.
Ow.
Bad
Oh.
temp grade. What are they? Asian?
Define bad, because I'm pretty sure Trent gets better grades than I do.
Lower than 59. Okay, yeah, I guess that's kind of understandable. But I went to ground. I would just say, hey, fucking game shit.
You get the whip. No
we do not
words.
condone whipping your children.
Unless it's fantasy and roleplay, in which case it's fine.
Even then, we do not condone the whipping of children.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep my mouth shut. Because, yeah, Royce, that's a smart move.
No, it's alcohol during the D&D. Going
Wait,
to
you're
store.
going to the store for it?
He's just leaving us. We're just gonna be talking here to ourselves for a solid hour.
Ourselves in the audience. Hello, everybody.
Is anyone even in the Twitch
Oh,
stream?
my name was Mark.
I don't know.
Someone check. Someone pull it up. We just start talking to each other in the Twitch stream chat.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to D&D. My Markiplier.
ladies.
My Jacksepticeye is better than my Markiplier.
But hey,
We can
Oh,
bait
God.
everybody.
I'm just glad my Irish character died, because Jesus, the accent. Oh, God.
It wrecks your throat. Now just imagine doing an
It doesn't
orcish
wreck my throat. I just can't do it.
Great accent, you just gotta put a little bit more effort. Still
No.
not picking
Now
on
try
you,
doing an
just go for the
orcish
living
accent
water.
for an
No.
extended period of time. You will wreck your throat.
Yeah, I'd rather die.
2.
Doing one
2.
line in an orcish accent kills me. It's time to get orky. It's time to get porky.
I didn't think that's what you were gonna finish that sentence with, Royce, but okay. What? I didn't say
Maya.
anything. I didn't say anything. Why are you saying my name like that?
Maya,
No,
stop.
I didn't
Maya,
say any.
cease.
What are you
Maya.
saying? I didn't say anything. Y'all are just jumping on me. Y'all are
Maya,
jumping to
cease.
conclusions.
Cease.
I didn't say anything. Except for just then. I did just
Cease.
say anything right there. Anything. Si, senor.
Oh my fucking god. Hey, Maya, your Discord name isn't right. It says Sigma/Faravan, but I don't know who this Faravan person is.
I have heard of them, but they died horribly from what I heard.
Yeah.
I have those tears.
Too
Jacob?
creeping Jenny.
Yes, Maya?
Do you want to have fucking beef night? I don't even know what that accent was.
That sounded like a half Scottish, half Irish Englishman who was
Listen,
raised in
just-
America.
No,
Jesus
no, no.
fucking
DM,
Christ.
DM.
And
DM,
visited
you got it.
Australia once.
You got it wrong. Hang on, you got it wrong, DM. This is more accurate to me. There. Tikva's the character. The other one's just me. Twitch viewers, I hope you love not knowing what's being said right now. You're constantly out of the loop. To be honest, though, this actually honestly does fit Tikva too, and I think it would also fit Zaya. I think 90% of my characters fit the dead inside category, or just the normal dead category,
Well, I
which
mean,
is great.
Zaya's no longer technically dead.
She's dead inside. I said dead inside or dead category.
Well, I mean, no, she's
Either
not dead
or.
inside, nor is she dead. She's asleep. So, she's on that free
Royce,
trial
please
of death.
don't skip D&D.
She was dead inside when she was living. I don't know if being a god suddenly made her happy. I doubt it.
Made her happier than you are.
Godhood equals serotonin? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
Made her happier
I'll make
than
Calvin
you.
a whip for you guys if you don't skip D&D.
Huh? You're gonna what?
Oh,
gonna make
well,
a what?
I'll make the whip for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kelvin's not the one doing that.
I didn't really know he was a dom or the sub in the relationship.
Do you not know DM?
Well, I know DM with women, but I don't know DM with men.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah.
Dom all the time. Okay.
I like how we're just discussing this.
We're
on
gonna be
stream.
taking 10 minutes. We're gonna be starting 10 minutes late. I've gotta go grab something because my food just got to the door. So
Nice.
Okay. Well, I mean, we
Go
still got
invite
like
the
10 minutes,
delivery
so we're
man
good.
to be on stream with us.
Go invite the delivery man to play Kips.
Kidnap a person.
Lemons. It's what Kips would want.
Honestly, I
Tell
can
me
see
I'm wrong.
Trent agreeing for a stranger to play his character just for the meme.
Just for the meme of it's what Kips would do.
WWKD.
Someone tell me I'm wrong because you can't.
You're wrong.
What would Kips do?
There, I
can't-
physically
you're wrong.
can. You're wrong.
No, I'm right by you being wrong.
I'm right-handed.
I was ambidextrous. Then it got beaten out of me.
Then I lost a hand.
No, then it got beaten out of me.
So someone threw hands because you could use both hands?
it didn't physically get beaten out of me. It mentally got beaten out of me by kindergarten teachers going, "You write with your right. You write with your right." And I was like, "But I can do both." No, you can't. You write with your right.
The left hand is saved for something else.
Sacrificing when you need to. Remember, keep the cleaver sharp.
Remember, God will never be satisfied until you've got 10 human sacrifices by the end of this month.
Remember,
Hail
you
Satan,
need to
children.
get. Remember, you need to get 5 more human sacrifices by the end of the week, or you're fired.
God.
Yep.
Well, this conversation took a turn.
CR55, my boy. I need to go make your brother in the support series and the freaking caster series.
No.
Do that right now.
No.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for mentioning CR. That reminded me of something.
Good. Glad I could help you.
Yes, it's very important. It's a very key plot point.
You're not gonna try and kill him, are you?
No, he's useful. He's rude, but I don't have a reason to kill him.
What number do we want to start the casters at?
Haha, 69.
No, because that would mean there's only 69. There's only 68 fighters. Which would make no sense.
420? 421, Cameron.
This
Okay.
this hurts. You know,
Karen.
I'm just gonna keep my freaking Kenku Rogue on the back burner to throw in.
It's your gamer tag, Cameron. 421.
To smack you.
I'm not wrong. I'm just stating the literal truth. It's your birthday. Why are you angry?
Okay, I'm just gonna put CR caster.
Cyrus, I know you're back. Say
C-
something.
Something.
Something. Oh, so original, Cyrus. You need to
doing
come
what
up
you
with
told me
new
to.
jokes.
You said say something, so I said something.
Then how come you didn't listen when I told you not to land the ship near the frickin' silver ore? Huh?
Because he didn't want us to
Selective
be there.
hearing. Sexism.
What?
What the hell? Why did that just close? It's not a
Selective
beach.
hearing.
55 is loading fine. Everything's fine.
Everything is awesome when you're not depressed. Perfect time to come back, Fenrir. Hey,
What the hell?
hey.
Why does my Firefox keep crashing? It's not happy about
Have you
this.
given it enough wood to supply the embers?
And like that, I'm gone again.
I made a fire joke. Why are you leaving?
Because I'm a water boy.
Oh. How
I'm an
dare
air nomad.
you?
Stay away from me. You killed my
I'm
people.
human. I don't know what you all are.
I'm human.
Stop muting.
You're a
Human.
goblin, Maya. Don't lie.
I'm not a goblin. You have no. I'm your height,
Maya.
if not slightly taller. What does that
Maya,
make you?
We're the same height.
I'm
I
slightly
already know I'm part
taller.
goblin.
That's pretty
The noise it's making is driving me mad. And I'm already insane.
Do I want to make it a wizard or do I want to make it a bard?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Well, Warforged don't technically have genders.
Ow.
Or do
You
I
can
make it
hot glue stuff down there.
Oh my god, stop.
Maya? No. Maya, cease. You must cease this.
There's a spare banana on the ship somewhere.
Maya, you are not coming near CR55 with that.
Not CR55, whatever the new one is you're making.
You're not
If
going
you
near the
put a
caster
fucking
series with that.
strap on a fridge, that doesn't make it a male fridge.
Strap on a fridge. Wow. Do you think about how big the strap-on needs to be to fit around a fridge, though? The
Stop.
band?
I regret my decisions.
No, like the band part. The this the
I know. I know.
yeah yeah.
I'm aware.
Are you aware? Are you sentient?
Unfortunately.
Let's see. Let's give it 5 levels
Painfully
in
aware.
this.
This is all lucid dream. Don't worry. You're gonna wake up in a couple of minutes.
You know, judging by the
War.
past couple of weeks and how they've been, I wouldn't fucking doubt it.
What have you been on?
Take a feat.
Solitude.
You know, you could just hop into the Discord chat, be like, "Hey, someone spam me with bad puns, Maya," and someone me would spam you with bad puns
Actually, let's
until you hated me.
2, 7.
If you don't already,
I wouldn't hate you. I don't hate you.
I can test that.
You have to
5.
fuck up pretty bad.
No,
for
we're
me.
gonna be 10 minutes late, so technically we have 15 minutes. Cyrus, do math right.
I missed that part. And then who's
I thought you were supposed to be the one who
Yeah.
paid attention, the competent one.
DM's gonna be 10 minutes late?
Yeah.
You got food.
Oh, okay.
We're all
see.
starving and he's eating. It's fine.
You know what? Go with this.
What's
Because this
food?
makes sense for this.
Fenrir,
Be a sub-
you should mail me exotic Florida cuisine.
Oh, so exotic butters?
I'm not just gonna send you an alligator.
Hey, I didn't say that, but you know, a live one.
That's where I was going. I was gonna go get a recipe.
Cartographers.
How does it feel knowing I'm just way up north of you? I'm T-posing miles and miles above your head. How does it feel?
No different from. Not necessarily above my head. Otherwise, you'd be
No,
sick.
no. If you look at a map, I'm definitely
Just more
above your head. No, I'm definitely above your
I-
head.
Want to smack
I'm
you
in
with
a-
that logic.
I'm in a second-story building right now. I'm definitely above your head.
I will end you.
You gotta come up here first.
Cantrip.
I have the high ground, Anakin. Oh, Kips is typing.
Where's the whip?
Where's the whip? You said no whipping children.
You know, every now and then I forget that you're underage.
That's a
Um,
bad thing to say.
That is really a bad thing to say.
I,
Good thing no one
K-
watches
But
these.
let's move on quickly. Change the color.
noose. I'm gonna tie a noose with the fucking whip.
no, terms of service, man. I don't think that's okay either.
That's okay, like you said, no one watches these.
Right. Goodness, Fenrir, going to Florida has changed you. Where are your swords? You
No,
only have whips.
Being by myself for an extended period of time has changed me.
How are you a social person? I don't get it.
See, here's the thing. I'm not a super social person, but having next to no human contact for
Sounds
an
great.
extreme extended period of time.
Oh, it'll fuck you
Sounds
up.
amazing.
You mean like the rest
If you
of the
have
world
no
right
choice
now?
in it, no, it's not nice, Maya. Some people like the option.
Oh, I know that song.
Oh, wonderful! I'm so glad.
I also know how to tie a noose.
I'm not glad. Was it because of the song?
No, I have known how to tie one for about 4 years now.
Cut the stream, cut the cameras, cut the cut. You doing good, man? You doing okay?
I learned it for a scarecrow costume. For a noose, like a necklace.
Ah. See, YouTube, Twitch, costumes, Halloween. We like that in America. We like capitalism. Halloween's great for capitalism, guys.
Oh my god.
Guys, yeah. Okay, I think we're good. The FBI hasn't entered the Discord chat yet, so
Oh my god, Maya, you're gonna get us banned.
for making an FBI joke.
We're gonna get banned. It's over. This will be the
How
last
does
stream,
he
guys.
mention a news and I mentioned the FBI and I'm the one who's gonna get us banned?
You just are.
Logic, I don't know.
I feel like I'm just being targeted.
Might be. I'm gonna.
I'm being oppressed by my own D&D group.
We're not oppressing you. If anything, you're oppressing us.
How? How am I
I will
oppressing
get
you?
back to you on that with a charisma check later.
That is not how logic or arguments work. Oof.
Ooh, that's actually good. Replicate item. And have it be that. That makes the most sense. Am I still here?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, I have the caster series done and set. I just gotta adjust the HP
Wow,
and
this
get the
has
ability score set.
been such a riveting conversation. I go quiet and suddenly the group's incompetent. Wow, gee.
I
It's
mean, we
it's
always
almost
were
like
incompetent.
I'm needed, but I'm being bullied for no reason, even though I'm a necessary part of this group. Oh, look, Jacob is deafening himself from the truth.
Actually, let's throw that 13
Okay.
with a 9. Be smart.
Wait. Oh. Hang on. I made a mistake.
I hope that
Here.
can sit in charisma,
That.
because I'm not gonna desperately need that. Okay, that is
No.
not bad for Constitution. And intelligence, please be nice. $17, not bad. Okay. Back. Some. Give.
I am back.
Welcome.
Well,
Be
I'm
afraid.
working on just making the CR series among support classing things.
Okay.
Figured it'd be something nice to do. These are the caster series.
Sorry, it took me a bit. Had to go grab a. The guy had the wrong address. So,
Nice.
yep, he was 2 streets down from me, so I had to walk down there because he's like, I'm not coming out. I'm not. This is where the address was. I'm like, that's not the case. I'm looking at it right now. He's like, no, this is it. So I walked down there, grabbed the food. He's like, where's my tip? I was like, here's a tip. Look at your GPS. And walked off with my food. I was mad. Bastard. On the plus side, I got some good food, so, and that's why I was chewing on a second ago, which is why I still kept muted for a minute. And we'll start in 4 minutes, so
Okay.
looking meme chat.
I'm good.
But I
I will
tagged you in it.
Later.
You're gonna drive me to drink Maya.
Don't blame me for your alcoholism. You were drinking before I ever joined this server.
Actually, that's not true in the slightest.
See what you did, Maya.
Well then,
Mm-hmm.
I make you more fun then, because when you drink, you're more fun.
Some days.
So
Some days.
when Calvin's around, at least you're tame.
Now that's pretty accurate. Oh man. All right, so we're gonna start in 4 minutes. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick because running over there was a pain.
Oh, you're undeafened now. Have you stopped running from the truth? I cannot hear you. Look in meme chat.
Yeah, I did.
You didn't laugh.
No, it just gave me fucking Vietnam flashback.
Why? Can I ask why? For that
No,
that
you're
meme?
not.
How card company?
Yes. Yeah, that was the intent. I thought you were gonna say like, oh, I had a birthday party once 20 years ago where geese attacked me, and I've been mortally afraid of geese ever since. It's my backstory. My goal is to hunt down all geese.
We'll set this later, but this is the basic, the same. Just like the best choices.
What?
That's good.
What?
I like that.
What?
The one you posted in Sundering.
I found it. I'm like, I must show Miguel.
Yeah.
See, I have a sense of humor.
Sadly,
I don't.
Listen, it's either humor or depression. Which you want?
both.
Self-deprecating jokes. I like it. I like it.
See, you gotta think like a universe, like a galaxy brain, not a small, smooth brain.
Whose brain?
It's the Aircaster series.
What is that fucking gift that Fuka sent in the chat?
Where?
I'm just making
Oh,
a
it's
cup of
related to
coffee.
like
The
League
one-
of Legends or something, I think.
So I'm just giving everyone a heads up that's here because you guys, well, minus Cyrus, are always the ones who get more finicky with me. Starting on Monday, I will be off coffee completely for a whole month. So this next week, I'm gonna be at
You're
my
going to die.
crankiest. My advice: if you have something that's gonna irritate me, tell me today. Because I'm going off of caffeine starting tomorrow, so I'm making my last cup of coffee right now.
I'm gonna warn now. Then be to just be fair. After the 9th, I'll know when I'm having my surgery.
Oh, okay. No worries.
After my surgery, I'm gonna be put onto heavy painkillers probably, so I will be very loopy.
Make D&D more interesting.
My sleep schedule is still messed up. Badly.
Congrats.
There is no fixing that.
No, but I know it probably. I don't know if that's all I could think of that'll irritate him besides just me myself. So.
Oh no, I mean no, that won't irritate me. I'm just warning you if there's something like coming up, like that's like major, that you're like, oh hey, this might bother you. Tell me now before.
I still exist.
Oh fuck.
Yep. Sorry.
Damn.
I thought you were
Yeah,
just
we're all
like
screwed.
a voice recorder, like a robot, and we were.
But there
You're
we
real?
go. Caster series is set.
I'm also
I don't want to
making.
be friends with people.
I'm also
I
making
thought
a
you were all
cheap
just
cup
fake.
of coffee, cause
Oh god.
I went with my darkest cup I could find. This is what we call. It's called Pure Black is the brand, and you get it at Costco for like $20 for a box of 400.
Oh.
It's like it's drinking mud basically, hot mud. And I'm gonna go grab the mug real quick. Someone at Trent and see if he's coming.
I can do that.
No. I typed fast.
All right, now that I haven't had a cup of coffee all day, my fresh cup has been made and is sitting beside me for when I get irritated. Inevitably, because Cyrus is gonna bother me no matter what.
Did you see
He's
the
gonna
PM I
pull.
sent you?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh
You're good.
god. Oh god. They're plotting.
And I do have my glass of whiskey next to me for when you pissed me off enough to cause me to drink.
Me or
Uh,
Cyrus?
Yes. You can't see it in the background, so I'm trying a new brand of whiskey. I'm trying some Wild Turkey bourbon. It's 101. Well, technically it's a whiskey, but they call it a bourbon. They're calling it bourbon.
They put bird in bourbon?
No. It's just a
You
brand,
said-
Maya. Wild Turkey.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the name of the brand.
I don't know alcohol.
You should. You live in a a white trash town, from what you're telling me. Wild Turkey
No,
should be well
no,
known.
just a dying town, a dying white town full of old people.
Well, then you should really know
and
what Wild
broke
Turkey is, because
people.
most of them would drink this. It's a cheap whiskey.
I don't socialize with people.
Thank you, Cyrus, for agreeing.
I don't drink whiskey, but yeah.
Wild Turkey.
All
It's
right,
it's called
let's
Sailor
get
whiskey.
this party on the
Yeah.
road, I guess.
I'll tell you about it afterwards, Maya. Last time we left off, the party had an extremely interesting session in which they managed to hold out hope that they would survive. With hope being brought on, Charlatan's dragon recruited, and the party coming to some realizations. Truly, all was peaceful as the party settled into the mountains of the old Knoll lands. Fenrir would have a long-lasting dream that would inspire him for a new hunt, and the party would still contemplate what to do next. But as the party would awaken, still late into the night, around 1 a.m., the darkness all around, they would hear a very powerful booming voice. And as this voice would speak, they would hear in old Dwarvish, power perpetuates war and oppression to keep itself, and leaves lessons to be learned and unlearned. To some, this voice would be familiar. To others, this voice
Oh, I speak Dwarvish.
No, in this case, I don't believe so. However,
None of
Tikva
us
would
know
recognize this voice almost immediately.
Is it in Dwarvish?
He was speaking with a Dwarvish accent.
Okay, that's what I
I should
thought.
have, sorry, I should have referred that way.
It,
As an old man, very slumped over, wearing raggedy clothes, comes out with a gnarled-looking cane of a almost stone gray wood, a beard that seems to scuffle across the floor, and he smells strongly of what you can only guess is some sort of alcohol. It is still dark, the fire still flickers, and you all see this man as he just sits down and stares into the flame.
CR will stare at him, just not knowing whether to approach, and then look to Cyrus for guidance because
you,
Construct doesn't know how to deal.
you said I recognized him?
Yes. To you, you recognize this man as an old dwarf who once you ran into way back before the incident, when you were still a young lass, when you were still full of joy and excitement, when gone was not trash. You recognize this dwarf as the progenitor to all dwarves, the High King himself, who sits before you, much older, much more ragged than you've ever seen.
Can I sense by his magic if he's mortal or immortal?
You don't sense any magic.
Ah, okay.
CR is gonna look to everyone and be like, does anyone know him?
What brings you here?
The old man kind of looks around for a moment, staring at each of you in the eyes,
CR
and then
soulless dead eyes.
stops on Tikva. His eyes, the old man's eyes, have gone from that bright red you recall to almost a palish. His beard much longer and more ragged. He looks as if he's aged millions of years from what you can tell. And he just kinda sighs as he looks down back into the fire and goes, I am here to grant you something. As you lot are the last hope we have of succession. As he begins kind of swallows slightly. There will be a war, this you know, as the gift I've given Cyrus here has already begun to propagate his mind. And as you see, the fire starts to dance and almost turn a slight greenish color. The old man continues. The future holds a great war, one where mortals will take their place, or the immortals will wipe the slate clean. Your cousin, your loved one, as he looks to Cyrus, your employer, as he looks to Fenrir, doesn't even look at CR55.
CR55 is just gonna walk away at this point.
Old man
A
continues.
little ways away, still within earshot, but recording all
Has
of this.
sided with those mortals who wish to keep us immortals from wiping things clean. It has come to our attention, at least very much mine, that another war is to begin, another age of chaos. One in which even I know the fate of my own. As my mother before me, I shall be slain. By none of you, of course, as none of you are great enough to do so. He just kind of gives a wry smile as his broken yellow teeth kind of stick out. But I am here to offer you some advice and some present, if you will. You see Zilpip as your villain, but yet to see him as your villain, the evil that is this world, you would see me as your hero. So I'm going to tell you this to give you a better and clearer picture. Dibus, the one who you know cut down Zaya Silversong. He smiles with almost a wry-looking grin as his lips crack and begin to bleed slightly. Was sent by me. Because, and he pulls out a flask and opens it up and starts drinking out of it. As he sets it down, putting it back in his coat. The fact that the scales must be maintained. For every hero that joins one side, another must join the other. Though I did not expect her to side with my ex-wife. Life can be fickle. But, Cyrus, because I know it will break you as he turns and stares you dead in the eyes, I want you to know I'm the one who ordered her death. As he takes another drink. And before this day is done, you will know true pain, like none you have ever experienced. But there is hope. 3 swords that you know. They will mark the battlefield. I suggest you pick a side. And with that, he just kind of stands up, wipes the booze from his lips, and turns and walks back into the darkness, fading away. As the fire slowly starts to die out.
CR throws extra wood on the fire.
The fire doesn't seem to start up again.
CR is
Tikva
very angry.
is staring at the
He
ashes.
now pulls out an axe and starts cutting the wood further, trying to make it more kindling to make it whoosh up. Must keep them warm. I can't freeze, they can.
Does Cyrus know what these swords might be? Because I assume they're magical.
Nope. You have no idea. You've never heard of anything.
Only Zaya was alive, because Zaya would have known.
Zaya actually told us of one. Or
What?
at least told Malthor and everybody of one.
No, she did not.
Because of the one we found.
Zaya mentioned it out of character about 3 swords from her backstory, but she did not mention it in character.
Yep.
No.
So I thought she
no.
recognized the one sword that Dibus gave Malthor, which...
Nope.
Not
Nope.
to the group.
Nope.
Oh,
Zaya was secretive. Tikva's gonna look away from the ashes and look towards Cyrus, and she's always been serious. She's always had that sort of somber, sober look. Now she looks irritated. She looks deeply, deeply irritated. And she looks at Cyrus and she says, something's turning. Some shift of power. Clearly, we had a god just now in front of us. I am going to again mention that any information you have is now vital. He spoke of Zaya just now. Someone dead, taking a side. I just want you to consider again what I said.
At this, CR is going to pipe up. Should I tell my secrets too?
CR55 has turned on his comedy switch, for those wondering.
He's not exactly the smartest boy.
What use are your secrets, CR? To the upcoming God War?
The army of constructs that are similar to me. I was told CR points at the dragon and says, I was told by that to to try and find a way to turn them all on and give control to him. And he points to Cyrus.
Tikva's gonna like lean forward. I assume she was sitting, like lean forward on her like elbows and be like, do tell us of this construct army.
There are warrior classes like me, outfitted minor tankers, and mainly to be shields. There are caster and support classes that can heal and sling spells and other things. And then there is the pure support classes, which handle repairs, healing, you squishies? Yeah, squishies.
Mm.
And then there's that dragon, along with CR designation CR0, the main control CR.
Where is this army located?
CR55, you don't know of any system or any other CRs that are currently active, other than you and the dragon as of current. So you
Only
cannot.
2 seem to be active currently, and that's me and that one. And he points at the dragon again. But CR01 would have been kept at the capital for the Helio as a emergency control switch to flick us all back on if they ever wanted us. I highly doubt they're ever going to use it again, because it seems like, from what I've gathered, they've moved on to controlling things that can destroy the world, and that's not.
CR, you say this CR00 can activate
01 designation
01.
CR01. 00 was a prototype that, from last I heard, ran off or got blown up. It's not clear. Databank's unsure.
So this control unit can wake more of your kind up. Or
It can technically
you able
essentially
to-
summon all of us under a single leader. It is
Right.
designed to wipe away our free will as singular constructs and make us work similar to a hive mind.
Are you able to trigger this control unit to send an awake command out?
I cannot, but while thinking and pondering, as CR02 has told me to, I did have an idea. I do not have the protocols to allow it, but I'd be able to assist in making it a possible secondary control switch to swap my mind with CR00s and allow me access, but it would take a long while to complete.
How long?
Unknown.
Cyrus, you're from this world. How far the Helio from here?
I
Going
don't know,
there
DM,
is
but
suicide.
I assume a few hour or a few days at least.
By airship, you'd be looking at probably a week's worth of traveling to get to the capital, because the capital's
Going
on a
there
separate
is
continent.
suicide.
Right.
And
would be
Fenrir
up-
suddenly wakes up.
Yeah, it would be a week or so, but I don't know if that's probably a
Again,
even more
going
dangerous
there
place
would
to
be
go.
suicide.
A
That is where their
Tarrasque
strongest standing
ravaging
military is.
the world is also suicide, and I don't think we have much of a solution for that yet. Unless you have more secrets you'd like to share.
Knowing the heli, they probably have the control for that as well. But it'd probably be kept closer to the thing.
You see Cyrus like deeply thinking and like trying to mull something over after a few minutes of conversation. He says, I don't know for sure, but I don't think Saya is dead. I do not know what form of life she has currently.
Now, we also need to talk about your lost companion, the one that you all were speaking, that you said was captured.
Malthor.
Malthor, yes,
Do you intend on rescuing him?
if possible, yes. But
I
like
have
you
this feeling
said,
that if I get left behind or destroyed, there will be another CR nearby. Fine. I can try to work on a location device to find others of the CR series. I cannot guarantee they'll be fighters like me, or that they'll be able to pilot the ship. But it might be useful.
any help is useful. And Cyrus,
As we seem to activate when we come in close contact to, he points to Cyrus.
right.
Cyrus,
Yes.
as he is of something that seems to awaken us.
I'm
As I told you when we talked,
right.
once we got here, this trident is a ancestral weapon. It seems I'm a descendant of the creators, or the creators of these CRs. With that, hang on a
With
second.
this,
Sorry, looking at the spell
with the
level.
trident, you may be able to just activate us by getting into the room. And you may even be able to bullshit your way past any Helio guards.
Yeah, with
My
that, you
first-
will start ritual casting wrist pocket,
Mm.
which will take what 11 minutes.
Okay.
But
And then
I
he'll
would
pop
suggest
out.
you gather your ally first, because it seems he was useful to you, if nothing else.
Yeah, after a little bit, you see Cyrus manifest a book that looks not like a full spell book. It's more just like it would be like a journalish type book. He finds a page, turns it to the page that he wrote the Royce what the R was of CR,
Mm-hmm.
and he shows that to the rest of the group. Does anybody understand what this word is?
Does CR
possibly a name.
actually understand what it is?
CR
What?
can't read it.
It's
What
probably a
language?
name.
Is it in a certain language?
Give me a moment. I'm just finding where I wrote that down.
I know a couple.
Give
I
me a
know
moment.
5.
CR users are outfitted to read Abyssal, Celestial, and Common. So,
let me see.
I know Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Dwarvish, and Infernal.
I'm just trying to remember where the word was. Give me a minute, because I can't
Cyrus
find it in my
Robotnik.
notes.
Like I
Yes,
said before, it's Cyrus Robotnik.
I did not find it in my
Cyrus
notes.
Ranch.
Okay, give me a minute, Cyrus. I gotta find this. It's gonna take me a couple
not a problem.
minutes. I was not expecting you
Yeah,
to.
I wasn't really either, but it fit.
God damn it.
Listen, when the
we can-
when the Z word gets dropped, shit goes down.
God damn it, though.
You dropped this bomb. This is your fault.
Shut up. I don't remember what the
And-
R was.
Well, while you're looking, we can converse
Mm-hmm.
yet. This seems to be
You're
one
looking,
of
I'm gonna make some rolls.
the creators'
When,
names,
upon seeing the
possibly.
word, CR just stares at it blankly, not understanding it entirely.
I don't know who the second person was, but one of them at least was an ancestor of mine.
Most likely the one that starts with the same name as you do. Hell, he transfer first names as heirlooms occasionally. especially for those who are named after great accomplishment.
I'm still looking for where I wrote that note. Shut up.
We're like,
I'm,
this
like,
is good roleplay.
I'm looking in my notes. It's in it's somewhere. Oh my god, I did not actually expect you to bring this back up. So
Should I just pull something out my ass for this? Find
No,
the weirdest R name I can.
No.
did I
No,
tell
I'm
you
sure
what
she
it
has
was?
something. No,
No, you
Oh,
did
okay.
not. Even though I designed
Yeah.
this
we,
shit.
we knew what the C was.
What was the
Yeah,
C?
you didn't
Remind
tell
me?
us
with
the R
Cyrus.
was.
Oh.
But
But the R was in a language that I didn't
yeah,
understand.
Now,
he's
okay.
seeing if any of us understand
Now I remember. Okay. All right. Let me look at your languages. Give me a minute.
it. Yep. I have 4, so
Okay, because that was a big thing. Okay.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh wait. Cyrus actually might be able to read this. Oops. Did I forget that mention? I just realized. Wait, no,
no.
wrong language. Okay, we're good. I have it written in my. I
Okay.
found it. It was in my quest notes. Give me a moment.
Quest.
Yes, I keep quest notes specifically for these campaigns because it's gotten to that point where
Mm-hmm.
oh, I don't need
So
a chip
many.
Malthor. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a quest for each of you, so I have to keep track of who has what.
Meanwhile, Malthor may die of starvation while we're sitting here jabbering our jaws.
Hey, listen, you
It's
know what?
only a
Hush.
half an hour or so.
I mean, I've got my drink here. I'm waiting. Till after D&D because I gotta be coherent. Okay. As you each look it over, none of you recognize it. However, Fenrir,
Mm.
you've seen these symbols before. They were in this. And if you're talking, I can't hear you. Yeah, I don't hear you at all. I see your mic flashing, but I don't hear you.
There you go.
Wait.
Now we hear you.
Yeah,
Or I heard him.
I heard him for a second.
Yeah. I heard typing.
Yep.
Oh, hello.
Pizza rolls?
There you go. Hi. Okay.
Pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
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 I got pizza rolls.
Oh, okay. All right. You've seen this before, Fenrir, this symbol. In your hometown,
Oh, okay.
it was listed in one of the ancient books of that the chief kept. And though you don't remember what it states, you do remember it had something to do with the undead.
Lovely. So I'm assuming Cyrus was showing this to just everyone, hoping
Yes.
that he could. Okay. In that case, I make sure to get his attention and relay the information.
And where is your hometown, Fenrir? Is it this world, the other world?
So Fenrir's hometown, I can answer that one because I've got the
Yeah.
map.
Sweet.
He
No.
comes from a very tiny city that isn't gonna be known to any of you. In Celsica, which is basically the North Pole.
In which
Nice.
world?
Technically, it wraps around both at this point. Celsica and Selmia, yeah, both have the same name in both worlds.
Hmm.
So
It's an old town up north.
if you've heard of this reference, I don't know if it will give us any more info, but at some point in the near future, probably after we find and hopefully rescue Malthor, it may be worth a trip. I don't know.
Well, if we're gonna be fighting vampires at all, a trip back home to old Bestiary. No. A trip back to the old mansion would be worth a shot at all. Lots of old trinkets there.
It would take too long to go now. Given from what you all were talking about, he looked in grave danger.
Yes, Malthor is definitely the first
but after.
Stop. DM would Cyrus anything have triggered in Cyrus when the High King said that he gave him a gift as
No.
to what that gift was? Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
He just told us some cryptic information and to choose a side, and that was his gift.
Yep. Cyrus will also share with the group.
Mhm.
Tikva, I don't know, you may be the best likely chance of having known this. Zaya received occasional visions.
Mm.
Um,
I don't
I
think
do not
Tikva in
know.
character knew, did she?
I don't know if she did or not.
She did not.
Yeah.
I don't know the source of these visions. But I know that she received them, and in one case she received a vision. I didn't really receive a vision, but I received something similar, and I believe, if I remember right, as myself, I think Malthor kind of received us very similar-ish visions at the same time.
From godly vision about the
Yeah.
God War. Yeah.
So it seems that I don't know what the sources are these are, but there is a history of seeming to get cryptic information from somewhere. That's he pauses a second. That's how I believe that Zaya in some way is not dead. I don't know what
You.
right now.
He talked of her right now as if she was alive. So, although I do not like false hope, it seems likely some way she might be alive. Although I'm wondering if these visions are what tipped the scales. As the High King mentioned, she was killed because of the need to keep balance. Her visions, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've heard of anyone in my family receiving them. Her source of power must have been something gained long after we split ways. The only thing I could think of is divinity that all tieflings share in their blood at this point. It runs as thick as mine as it would hers, but I've yet to get visions from it. I don't see what she would.
I do not know, but
CR is
speaking
just
of
gonna back and forth between the two as they're talking.
speaking of, I don't suppose that's a weapon, but ancestral items. That instrument that you carry of hers
Mhm.
is an ancestral weapon of the Silver Suns, or ancestral item.
Yes. As he mentions it, Tikva will pull it out and look over it.
Looks like a
Eyes
normal
light up
flute.
because I can tinker.
Normal loot. Yep. How?
Can
Yes,
CR attempt to look this over a bit closer? Walking up with waggle.
If you
Robo-wag.
walk up to it, Tikva is going to hold it away from you and look like arch a brow at you, like what are you trying to do?
Again, I was constructed for tinker anything. I may be able to gain some insight on the magics or how old it is by
Well,
looking it over.
Firstly, I want Cyrus to explain how he knows it's an ancestral weapon. I mean, mentioned it to me before, which is why I took it off her corpse against my people's better judgment based on our culture when it comes to dead. I've yet to really sense anything special. Maybe it's because I lack the bardic touch necessary, but how do do you know of it being an ancestral artifact? Did Zaya manage to accomplish something with it?
Saya and I originally found or discovered it, which actually was in a crate in our ship.
Hmm.
I do not know how it got there, but when we discovered it, I used an identification magic on it
Hmm.
and gleaned this info. So now the info that Zaya had on the weapon, you have. Out of character.
Nice, nice.
Because I can't spot it in the chat from before, but I know you
Yeah,
knew
I'm
what it
scrolling
was.
up. I think I had it in my notes somewhere.
Also, Tikva, I unattuned it to you because you were not able to attune to it outright.
Okay. Just because I'm not a bard.
Nope.
Nope. Oh boy. Well,
Because it hasn't chosen you.
could be. I'm so confused. Cyrus, you, out of everyone in the group, probably even out of me, would have known probably Zaya best. What, besides her premonitions, what, what about that? What about what she did could have been disruptive enough to the balance and whatever other bullshit they're spouting that she'd have a god target her? And Dibus, how would Dibus be involved? Last I heard, he was a companion, then he was dead. Now he's not.
Malthor, or Malthor. Wow, I'm getting good at names. Cyrus actually kind of like does the chuckle type thing.
What is
Well, you
amusing?
see, that's been a sore subject because I believe we told you that. I don't know if we did. Malthor gave a potion of true resurrection that we had to Dibus's son, the current ruling king, which is also Dibus, if I remember right, just Dibus Jr.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
Okay. To him, and shortly after that, we came across Senior. My belief is that this potion may have been used to bring the original Dibus back that Zaya knew and adventured with.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm interpreting this wrong. You had, and I'm going to say had, and hope this is very much the case, means of resurrecting the dead. And I'm presuming you were out of these when you gifted the final potion to Dibus Jr. Probably it's a sign of peace or offering. I know you were for an alliance, and therefore weren't able to instead have saved that and used it on Zaya, who died to the very person resurrected by that potion. Am I correct?
DM, help me remember. I don't think I found my true resurrection potion.
Yeah, that's
Do you remember?
correct.
I do
You
remember
used
what
Zaya's
happened
and
though.
it failed.
You used Zaya's
Yes.
and it went.
So
Yep.
you had potions left is the part.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, because I still haven't. I'm assuming. Well, that's where I'm getting clarification before I continue.
Yes.
Are you gonna
So
tell her that,
because
though?
I used Zaya's, it didn't work. I tried
Yes.
to get mine out of my wrist pocket thing, but it wasn't there. If I remember right.
No, you couldn't get it in time.
Or yes,
Oh yeah,
taking too
I
long.
couldn't get it in time, so I would still have one. Technically.
You gonna tell her that?
Well, I'm just
That part.
DM. That would be correct.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Because I was actually, as a player, I was thinking that I didn't have one anymore.
No, I think we still have one.
We have
Yeah.
one for emergencies only. It's behind a glass. It's in a glass box in your wrist pocket
Yep.
with a tiny
Okay.
mallet.
Okay.
So I tried to use one that Zaya was carrying on Zaya, and it did not work. He like takes a second super heavy sigh and manifests the other potion from his wrist pocket thing because it would still be up.
All right. As you do that, it appears.
Tikva locks
I
her
do-
eyes on it.
I do have
I
one
will
more.
mention, Cyrus, as you're
Mhm.
looking over the bottle, you do see a piece of what looks to be some white piece of paper kind of stuck to it.
So then, as he manifests it, he's about to speak as he sees this paper, and he pauses and looks closer at what it is.
What is it? Oh god, I feel PM coming.
It's an expiration date.
If it was.
The potion's
He
expired.
just sighs, and you hear. Well, wait. 'Cause I don't know if he wants to. Is the ship still out, right?
The ship has been minimized, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that explains it.
What explains what?
It seems your husband left a note, and he hands the potion to Tikva.
She'll take it carefully and look at the piece of paper.
It says Gull was here and expired 2 years ago.
Tikva will like swish it around kind of casually. She, growing up had experience with like herbalism and stuff. Would she be able to tell based off like just looking at the potion if this is true?
Well, it bubbles as you swish it around and turns
Yeah,
from a
'cause she
light blue to a dark green.
yeah, she made the potions that led to the TPK of the party, so would she know based off her potion brewing
And
experience?
her experience, potions changing that rapid of colors is not a very good thing, but then again, this is magic that she's never seen before.
Where did you get these potions from? I doubt highly you brewed them yourself, so sorry, I know you're a capable person when it comes to magic.
No, or I
Stole
discovered them in the Sea Elf Kingdom.
Sea elves.
We were separated. Let's just say I did a thing, discovered them right before we were able to escape.
How did you know of their properties before you took them?
In a ruse to escape, I may have killed a guard, stumbled across another guard, was able to fool him, thinking that one of the other prisoners got a knife and started attacking people. And he
Questioned your alignment?
yes, that too.
Out of
He
character.
then had me or mentioned that there were some true resurrection potions. So in attempting
And-
to continue with the guys, I offered to assist and get the potions for him.
This-
Let's just say I didn't end up helping him.
Right.
Into a
You
fire.
say
Yeah.
you didn't see this note before, and that Gall wrote it, but this says expired 2 years ago, which implies it. There's no way the potion you gave to Dibbis Jr. could have resurrected Dibbis then, right? If these potions are expired and they did not work on Zaya, then something else must have rested him, unless you have proof of this potion working on someone else, in which case either half the batch was good or someone, and she like taps the bottle, looking at it, tampered with these, which implies either, of course, seemingly the god which wished death upon my cousin, or, and she like holds the potion to Cyrus, like showing the note and stuff, my husband.
I only know of, I believe, it working one time. He originally had 4 potions.
Mhm.
There was a goat.
The captain wanted to save.
So it works
That,
on
No.
animals?
well, I don't think this goat was actually a goat.
Mm. Shapeshifter?
It seemed to hang around with your husband for a while when we were in and out of
Would Tikva
the
know?
area.
Would Tikva know of the supposed halfling goat?
Give me an intelligence roll.
Oh,
Intelligence
great.
check.
First roll of the night, guys. Woo!
An
Intelligence. I'm
hour in, and we're
supposed to
finally
be
getting
smart.
rolls.
Or I'm supposed to be an hour. I'm supposed to be an hour. God, supposed to be averagely smart at least, above average if nothing else. So this should be good. This should be a good roll. It's a 5.
Fun check. CR55 rolled
Wow.
a 16.
You
Screw off. You know dice hate me.
you recall a halfling that liked to dress as a goat, that would follow your husband around. You don't recall his name, but that is something that stuck out pretty clearly.
You're saying this halfling companion of my husband who dressed up as a goat was killed and resurrected by you using one of these potions?
I don't know for certain if that is the same person, but yes, there was a goat that captain who also died
Yes.
used, but it seems this goat was something else. Yeah,
Led to
captain
the
was able to tame it. Sort of fits with the goat, but the goat was some sort of a weapon.
Stop. Oh my god.
Malthor explained that thing was a demon at some point. I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh no, and
Yeah.
Zaya freaked out. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Zaya knew what it was.
it was
And he did tell Cyrus, so
yeah, it was an
so-
ancient demon that was also a weapon that seemed to have had its soul infused.
So, what you're saying is this potion worked on a possessed soul sword goat, and it worked on her dead and modified, enhanced from what I last heard, companion, but did not work on my cousin herself. Either that
I-
means these potions
Sorry.
are altered or controlled by something, or my cousin was altered or controlled by something, which, if she is still alive, could be the case.
But healing magics are not my forte. They would be more.
No.
Is Kip's with us right now,
Malthor.
or is he on the?
Kips is
Yes.
not nowhere to be seen currently.
Probably
Okay.
in his lab, yeah.
He's probably in his
I
lab.
have some limited experience with potion brewing. I brewed a poison so strong it almost fell a mighty dwarf and led to, and she's like holding the bottle sort of up to whatever light it is to kind of stare at the liquid as she mixes it. My demise and my party's untimely demise, as well as healing potions. I do not know what this potion is at all, though. Being the sea elves, I don't know much about them and their magics. I can't tell you much, I'm afraid. Chug it. She is undead resurrected. I do not know what would happen if she drank a
Yeah,
You know what?
a
You should
resurrection
test it out
potion.
on the one thing that's actually technically unable to eat or drink.
like I mean, like I said, I don't have confirmation that the one Malthor gave away was used on Dibus Senior, but it
Dibus,
was the timing of it
Dibus.
that I made the assumption it was.
Right. And she's gonna offer the potion back to Cyrus to take, because she's really, if it doesn't work, she's got no need to have it. Cyrus, you said you had been interacting with Dibus prior to Zaya's death. Was there anything about him that gave any warning signs, would have given you information on why he was used by apparently the High King to turn on Zaya and kill her? Because last I knew, she had been a good companion to him, and unless the High King possessed him or some sort, he assumingly did this of his own will, which means surely he seemed a bit off. You and Zaya are both very observant people.
No, he seemed to, whether he was controlled or just aligned with, seemed to be, we'll say, in this game that we've just learned that we are in the middle of. Oh yeah. Do I still? By
I
the way,
am
do
not
I still
good
have
at
that
but I
games.
pop
think-
red?
I
I'm good
think-
at punching
Yeah, I think you do. But I think you explained it to Tikva already, if I
Yeah, yeah.
recall. That
think so.
she knows that's from Dibus. But
CR55 looks at them both. I am not good at games. I am good at punching and fixing things.
can you
Yeah.
be good at not interrupting us while we speak, please? CR55.
Cyrus kind of itches the paw print.
Right. Is Tikva will like sort of eye it and lean back to
Remove
think.
it.
CR55 here, and she'll hold the loot out. If you want something to keep yourself busy, feel free to look over it. I'll need it back soon.
CR55 will very gently take it and start looking it over, examining it.
Okay.
Making sure it's in tune, all that.
All right. You know what? Give me a let me pull up something here real quick.
Metal Ear, let's go. Make it so out of tune it's in tune.
Give me an investigation check.
I'm glad I'm proficient in these. Nat 20, 24. I'm happy.
Okay. As you look it over, you don't see anything special about this loot. You don't sense any magic coming off of it. It's a simple loot.
If elegant and flashy.
No, even to you, you remember from when you were first activated, one of the heli that you served under during the Great War that you saw carried a loot was much fancier than this. This would be considered a peasant's a peasant's loot where you're from, your home area.
Hmm. It is normal loot. Hands it back.
Right. Tikva's just gonna sit it down and look back towards Cyrus. I really, really wish Zaya was here, if for the sole purpose of, if not to have my cousin back, for her to inform us about these premonitions of hers. Do you not remember anything? I assume she told you of them, at least a few, because clearly whatever was in those premonitions, visions of hers, is what got her killed, it seems like. And I feel like that's information we should know.
Cyrus will take a moment, and then he will relay the ones that Saya told him.
Which ones? Because I got a list.
I know you have notes on it.
I have the premonition notes. I gotta remember which I told you.
You two can figure it out later. Let's just
That one I
Yeah.
don't think she did. That one, no, I did tell that one. Didn't tell that one. That one we shared.
I think it was one of the ones that you had in like the 3 days, or the 3 in 1 day.
Yeah. No, I know the big important premonition. And I think that's the one. Oh, yep. When the meteor happened. Oh, yep. How much of it do you think Cyrus would recall to relay? Because I have it copy pasted, but
he's a very smart wizard.
I can copy paste it to you if you want, so you can like just say it how like explain how Cyrus would explain it. I just need to know how much Tikva would get.
Let's see.
Percentile, and that's how much you get.
Oh, I don't have it set to roll into the channel. 24 on intelligence check, so probably fairly word for word.
Fairly word for word. That work, DM.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, let me just read this over real quick again. I guess.
Okay, doom, death, continuous death,
Lots of death,
Yeah.
murders,
Let me
murder
fix
from someone
my-
you care
things you
about.
never
Fair-
listened to
Would-
or failed to interpret.
Wait, are Fenrir and CR55 just listening in then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should I
CR55
copy
recording
paste
this
it for
entire
them?
conversation.
Should I just copy paste it for them to see? Or
Sure. Or you can take a minute, because I'm going to run to the restroom.
Go ahead.
All right,
CR55
no.
is recording this entire
Here.
conversation. He's just like,
this? Remember, this is from
After-
Zaya's POV, I guess. So if the wording's weird, it's because it was first person. I don't know if anyone else got it copy pasted but Cyrus. So I guess have fun, guys.
red.
All right, I'm gonna just assume Cyrus reads all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tikva's gonna think very hard, very seriously, as she hears the words and looks like up at Cyrus, like she looked down at the ground and then looks
Would
at
Cyrus also say that
You-
technically they found a technically Malforhan sword?
No, not
At some point.
important. You
I mean, we did find a
Say-
sword, but I don't know if it was the one that was mentioned.
We don't, but it's the closest we have.
you say,
Yeah.
Cyrus, that Zaya said I was in the vision she had.
Yes.
Let's see, Zilpip. Is there a drow queen? I know nothing of that. Dwarf in Molson armor. Well, this definitely sounds like the god war you all were telling me about, this premonition she had. So. Seems like she was seeing the future, but if she was seeing the future, she should be alive and in silver scaled armor there to fight with us, which implies either she is alive and has gained or is getting said armor, or these visions of hers are more like warnings than
Paths
windows.
Future can follow.
I believe they were possible futures based off of our
Possible
current
futures.
location in
Hmm.
what was happening.
The High King mentioned to us something about the swords. 3 swords marked the battlefield. In this vision, you're telling me, assuming this is to be believed, there were 3 swords mentioned here on a banner. Gold, silver, bronze. I don't know of a kingdom that bears that mark as their banner, as their sigil, so clearly this is something new or something from your world. Would you
It's
know
possible
of
that the banner itself is a banner of alliance, where
Mm.
countries or
Trying to
powers
survive.
came together that used to use the various colored swords, and now their new banner of the combined forces is the three swords.
Maybe. Is the DM back yet? Is the DM back
The
yet?
DM's back.
Okay.
The DM didn't realize he was on mute. I'm very happy I was because I was taking a deuce. So,
Thank.
my mic.
When can I do some check, or Tikva's gonna think about any kingdom she would know that would have the three swords or one of the three swords as their mark, sigil, like anything she can
Okay.
attribute those swords to.
Yeah, give me a history check.
All right, and I'm gonna roll physical dice this time because I'm angry at Avray.
I just-
Avray is.
Mhm.
I disown Avray.
Oh man, I just realized how fast acting black coffee is.
18.
18. Okay. So
Yes.
the three swords. I believe it's silver, gold, and bronze. Correct.
Bronze.
Yes.
Yep.
So each sword represents originally, supposedly to most outsiders, represents one of two things. The only two known historical figures or historical nations that claim three of anything and claim swords specifically were the Aarakocra, which are now extinct and have been extinct since the Age of Chaos. Did my phone just? Okay, that was weird. And the second was the Yuan-Ti, the three hives. So which were originally four. The Aarakocra are supposedly had three different temples, each designed around the concept of one of the major elements to what they built with, which was bronze, silver, and gold only. They were one of the few species even that, well, I mean, about almost over 1,000 years ago, most species hadn't even figured out how to write yet. The Aarakocra had mastered both the written language as well as smelting of both bronze, silver, and gold. However, there is supposedly, according to the history books that Tikva would have read at some point, many believe, and many amongst the Gnomish scholars who have studied into the subject, that the Aarakocra would eventually evolve into the Yuan-Ti due to a curse. And however, unfortunately, most of the research done on this would be kept personally in the Gnomish kingdoms and probably most likely the capital's library, where the main universities send all of their written pieces from their explorers.
Mm.
And
I
that's
see.
all
So-
you get.
Not getting
So-
that anytime soon.
Tikva is gonna. She thinks for a moment, clearly like pondering, reminiscing, and then she like blinks to focus and looks at Cyrus, and I guess if the others, if they're listening, but mostly Cyrus, and she says, "I recall in my books of reading, there are two races in my world who we could attribute these swords to. The first would be the Aarakocra, who had three temples, each dedicated to silver, bronze, and gold, of which they were master smiths of their time. They're now extinct, supposedly by a curse. Information is not specified. That's hoarded up in the Gnomish capital. They're the most well-known researchers when it comes among races. The Yuan-Ti had four, now have three hives, which could be attributed to. I know the Yuan-Ti do not get along with the Tabaxi. I found out recently, in documents, supposedly someone before me, who was a ruler, had an alliance with the Yuan-Ti. I'm not sure if it's null and void. That could be them that the banner represents. If it's anything more spiritual, more divine representation, I wouldn't have a clue. I'm not a studier of gods. You guys mentioned you had a run-in at the Yuan-Ti, did you not?
Yes, the goat demon sword thing.
Right.
Zaya tried to dispel magic on it for Captain, and we got teleported to the Duanti lands.
Mhm. Wonderful, wonderful.
And barely escaped.
DM, I assume that the other probably key part of that thing, the
Mm-hmm.
silver scaled armor that Zaya's seen wearing in the vision, Tikva has nothing on.
Mm-mm.
No, that's what I assumed. Would she know of the Drow Queen or the female dwarf in the molten metal?
Well, any sort of female, the only female dwarf that's historically well known amongst the whereabouts she comes from is the High Queen herself.
Right.
And then as far as the Drow Queen, yeah, the Drow Queen's pretty well known as a religious figure amongst the Drow. It's one of the reasons that the Drow keep to themselves, and rarely is there anything known of them as a species other than that they worship a Spidian Drow.
I'm very confused, Cyrus. The High King said just now that Zaya is sided with his ex, which would be the High Queen, by whatever means. I didn't think her religious. In this vision you tell me of, the High Queen and the Duragar are seen on the side with the Drow and Zilpip. Based off what you all have been telling me, you are not aligned with Zilpip. So either the High Queen is not with Zaya, which means the High King was lying to us, or this means at some point, if this vision is to be believed, we, or at least Zaya, must at some point align with Zilpip, which brings on some concerns, I'll admit. Mostly confusion, but concerns. Do you have any information on that?
I had only encountered Zilpip once shortly after I've met Zaya. And Ben Zoran at the time. In the original capital of the Tiefling lands. We barely escaped that one as well.
Hmm.
But other than that, I do not know much more of this Zilpip. There is apparently some other god that is called Ray Plastes that
Right,
I thought
in
I
the
was
note.
making a deal with a Nord god, but I wasn't able to find any information on this Ray Plastes.
Right. I do not know anything of Ray Plastes either. This is all more concern than help. Although the High King said choose a side, I wonder what he meant by that. He seems to want us on his side, of course. That's, I assume, he was offering his aid in a turn of our obedience. But if this is true, with my cousin Zaya being with the High Queen, that means if we were to take his side, we'll be going against Zaya. And if we take supposedly Zaya's side, whatever that might be, we'll be facing the High King. And Dibis, I suppose, is his little pawn. Although I will admit I already had plans to go against Dibis. Not sure this changes much for me, but I'm not sure if this complicates anything for you.
I don't know, but I know if one side is wipe the world or worlds clean and the divine start over, or the worlds survive as well as the divine with it seem maybe some change.
Maybe.
I'm all for surviving and the world surviving.
Yeah, and she chuckles, and she's not really chuckled before, but she chuckles. If I'm being honest, I don't think I agree with the gods getting to erase these little mistakes they've made. I think the consequences should be theirs to deal with, although those consequences might be us, and I do think I'd like to live. But before we go aligning ourselves with anything, I do think we need more information. This all could have been a lie or a ruse. I didn't sense magic from him, although he could have been suppressing it. He could have been without magic, dethroned. I don't know if that's a thing happening yet, although I think I've heard something about gods losing their powers.
It is possible. DM, what time of? I know you said it was night. Have we completed a long rest at
Yeah,
this
you got a
point,
long
or
rest.
is it
At
okay?
this
Yeah.
point, it's about 5 a.m. You guys have been up for about 4 hours now.
Okay.
Yeah. Either
Um.
way,
Oh,
this
go ahead.
is
Sorry.
yeah, this is a lot of information, but I think it's perhaps not what we should be focusing on. Red herrings, too much to process. We need more time on this. As CR55 said, although he's right. And she just kind of looks at him, stares at him, just looks away, and then is like, Malthor should be our priority at the moment, dealing with these vampires. God war not, if we are the world's last hope, or the world's is plural last hope, we can't do much if we die here. Uh, plans on getting back Malthor? Anyone?
Fenrir, I assume you know about vampires. I am not certain, but I would guess that they don't like light or bright light, dawn, sunlight or radiant energy.
I was waiting for him to finish, Maya. Thank you. um, vampires like light as much as you would like acid on your crotch. It's not a good time.
Well, I definitely would not like that. So
That sounds
let me.
relaxing.
He kind of doesn't really look at the group, but he kind of absentmindedly says, "Let me try something."
Oh no.
Don't put acid on your crotch. I promise
No,
it's not
I
creepy.
am not going to put acid on my crotch.
Cyrus,
Uh,
that
CR55
stupid.
is the one who said it sounds
No,
relaxing.
he summons a longsword.
All right. A
Mhm.
longsword appears of simple iron.
Walks away from the campfire, walks over to the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. He has he spoke out loud or only through the link so
Only
far
through the
to
link.
me?
Because he doesn't speak
Uh,
common or something.
yeah, he will. Cyrus will establish the link. Ask the dragon if he has able to breathe some sort of weapon, or basically asking a breath weapon. I
Yeah.
don't know how to word it in character right now. And
Uh,
if so, what type of energy is it, or what does it do?
It just nods.
It just nods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can you display your breath weapon in the nearest direction that wouldn't damage
It
anything?
looks at Fenrir and begins to open its mouth.
No, no,
Ah,
no,
Fenrir,
no,
give me a
no.
dexterity saving throw.
He does not have a line of command.
Yeah, I was just
Isn't
fucking
he
talking
under
out loud,
control
but
of
okay.
Cyrus?
Give me no, he's
I
not.
So
A
much
dexterity
for our
saving throw,
hope.
right?
Correct.
Okay. How does a 30 sound?
That works. You take 15 points of radiant damage
Owie.
as a glowing light shoots out of the dragon's mouth, making Fenrir glow like an angel while still being in pain.
So is he
well,
covered with a light now?
Yeah, he's glowing. It's like as if the light spell was cast on him for a few
Yeah.
moments.
well. Thank you for the demonstration. Although in the future, if possible, try not to damage the rest of my party.
Merchandise.
It kind of tilts its head toward at you.
And that was just through the link again. Everybody else just sees Cyrus kind of like giving him a
Looking at it.
stern look.
Stern, angry dad look.
Your eyebrows talk so much.
I know Cyrus would probably, being that it's magic, probably know that their breath weapons will recharge,
Mhm.
but he wouldn't know how that happens
Correct.
or how long it takes.
Correct.
So now seeing what type of damage that was, Cyrus will plant the longsword in a direction away from the dragon.
Towards
that-
Fenrir?
No,
Okay.
so it would like go out away from the party.
Oh, okay.
If
No,
he
no,
was to
towards
breathe on
me.
it.
Towards me, obviously.
And then ask the dragon if you are willing to, when your breath recharges, to let me know and breathe on the sword, and I will also cast a spell at the same time.
All right. Are you going to try and save the sword?
Well, my idea is what I sent you is
Yep.
attempting to enchant it with radiance,
Okay.
essentially.
All right. It's going to breathe on your sword. Please give me a dexterity saving throw as well, Cyrus, because this is a very large, wide-ranged breathing weapon or breath
Well, I
weapon.
meant I'm sticking it in the ground, like in front of it, so
Oh,
that
okay.
it's its own target. I'm not holding it.
Damn it.
Dude,
If you
he's
need
not
someone
that
to hold it,
stupid.
I can hold this for you.
Yeah, no, because
And you will get hurt.
basically, because the spell I'm doing has 30 foot radius.
Okay.
30 foot radius. So yeah, I'm sticking this out about 40 feet away.
All right.
And then essentially he can breathe on it. I will cast Dawn centered a little bit. Well, technically centered past it, but I'm trying to focus it into this sword
Okay.
to try to infuse this sword with radiant,
All right.
basically.
Give me an Arcana check.
That I can do. Come on. 27.
Well, that passes. All right. Give me a minute.
And I sent you
Cyrus
what I
and his
was
rolls.
hoping for, whether
I
that's
know.
what you deem, but
Give me a minute. Oh, all right. You gain a weapon that I just added to your inventory.
nice.
Whew.
Love how
Alright.
Cyrus has 3 magical weapons now, and I have 0.
Still
CR
only
has
has two hands.
0.
Yeah, this was not made for me.
Still only has 2 hands. All right. As you
For
do this,
now.
Sweet.
the blade now glows with a permanent glow. You now have a permanent light spell cast on it.
Sweet.
Not
So
daylight,
I
though.
will.
My Dark Souls is
Not
so happy
stealthy.
right now.
Yeah, for the rest of you, out of
Fucking
character,
sun
he just
blade.
made a sunblade.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
That's why my Dark Souls is happy.
Yeah,
Solaire would be proud.
CR looks at it like, ooh.
Shiny.
CR
Alright.
gets a very stupid
he
idea.
will actually.
Would him doing that to me make me glow?
I'm not gonna say no. You can try it.
I mean, at this time, Cyrus isn't going to spend another 5th level spell to do that. But
Camps out for another night. Like, all right, we're gonna wait here for another night then. Sorry.
yeah,
We're
'cause-
waiting here. I am not driving the boat until I get to be a glowy boy.
yeah,
we
because
can
essentially,
drive it,
both
technically.
the rest of you saw the same thing that the dragon did before, which is, I believe it's just isn't it a 5 foot?
It's a
You know what I
5
mean?
foot wide, 120 foot long
Yeah,
spray of
line. Yep.
holy light.
So you
Fenrir is
saw
still
this,
glowing,
like,
by the way.
yeah, you saw this white beam come out again of the dragon, and then you saw bright sunlight because it was actually the dawn spell that I cast.
Hmm.
That was this huge column of light all came down on the sword at once, and then the sword stayed glowing.
Nice.
And Cyrus will go pick up that sword. Fenrir, I believe you already have this whip that may be preferential to you. We now have this that may help in our adventure into the.
But yeah, this whip will. Sorry, I was saying out of character. Like, yeah, this whip has killed vampires before. You've seen it kill vampires.
So yeah, so you're good on a weapon. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, Maya, if you need one or if it would be best to give it to you
Out
at
of
55.
character, I do not have a magical weapon. The best I have are normal daggers. So if I run out of spell slots, me stabbing crap ain't gonna go well. I mean, as
CR
Fenrir
has no magic
experienced
weapon either.
2 sessions ago, thankfully I did not have magical weapons.
Yes, he does. Fenrir's whip is.
No,
No, I
she's saying she
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah, she
yeah,
doesn't. And CR
that's why I
doesn't.
only.
Oh, I thought I heard him
Yeah, I
say
said as
Fenrir.
Fenrir knew 2 sessions ago, I could only stab him with simple daggers.
Yeah,
So she could use a magical weapon. However, if the tank Warforged might need it more, then maybe the
CR
tank Warforged. Yeah.
Yeah, as he backs, he looks at CR55. I assume you have similar capabilities to the CR54 that we knew for
Correct.
sure.
We were of the same make, essentially. Just different model numbers.
And he hands the sword to CR55.
All right,
So-
CR55. I will add a Sunblade to your inventory.
I will remove it from
Fun.
mine.
Also, okay, wait.
Yes.
Did we see where Kips went to before we went to bed?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, I need
Also,
to talk.
the dragon is going to belch suddenly. And out is going
Oh,
to
no.
pop a hammer.
What?
CR's gonna look at the Sunblade, look
I'm
at the
sorry.
hammer.
What?
Cyrus will go and, not touching the hammer, will go take a look at the hammer to see if the hammer is familiar.
Okay. As you take a look, you see a hammer that
Next
is
captain comes out.
no. It is basically it looks like or on the head of the hammer, it has an orange sun. The hammer is kind of done in a red sort of metal design, and it seems to give off a slight coloration of almost of a glowing white light.
He will take 11 minutes to ritual cast Identify.
Yeah, learning from past mistakes.
Fucking alright.
CR55 is gonna look at it, walk over.
Give me a minute.
No.
I'm just gonna copy and paste this in your thing, Cyrus, so that you
Cyrus
can
will
flip
stop
and
you.
read it. Nope. There.
Not a problem.
Enjoy.
Maybe give the beefy one the hammer and I get the sword.
That might be what it turns to, because CR, can use all weapons.
I don't know. I think I can do simple weapon.
Can you use long swords?
Martial
That's-
weapons, simple weapons.
That's
Yes.
funny.
Yep.
Jacob, you would like this weapon.
Too bad he has
I'm
the
sure
fancy
I
whip. He doesn't
fucking
need
would.
another
I
weapon.
am.
Time to give
giddy.
loot to the others.
Spread the loot. Spread the loot.
Yeah, I guess at this point, Cyrus will be honest and share what it is. So,
Be honest.
Um,
For once.
What
I
is
know you're a
it?
liar.
basically summarizing, that's it's Obviously, a hammer hits things hard. Appears you can throw it and cause it to explode and do lots of fun things.
Will it
but that is
return?
only
You can summon it
yes,
back.
it will return
Then this will
After-
work better for me.
after you
Luciar
use,
hands the sun blade off
action,
to
basically. Yeah.
Zaya and picks up the hammer.
Alright.
Zaya,
Tikva,
you're alive.
Tikva,
Yeah.
please
mean, not
add
Zaya,
the
Tikva.
Sunblade to your inventory, and CR55
Nice.
add the Sun Forger. I'm gonna turn on my light real quick.
Sun
Yeah,
Forger.
Turn
Great.
Sun Space Blade. It's not a single word, otherwise it won't pop up. Two
Sunblade.
words. Sun Blade.
Ye-
2 words.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
You guys just see Fenrir twitching nervously.
I will
Oh, I
mention,
want it so
Jacob,
bad.
that
Just
with
a
your luck with
lightsaber?
hammers, I would not recommend it.
I don't
Yeah.
care. It belongs to me.
No,
are
you
not-
have the whip.
No.
You have the fancy
You're not a
upgraded whip.
holy
We need
warrior.
Luke.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
the-
no,
I
no.
know.
CR's gonna look at this and essentially just keep a tight grip on it and like, this is mine now.
The best is Fenrir posting the thing of Thor in chat right before I actually read what it was.
No, the best part is the fact that when Malthor comes back, CR55 is gonna take this item and leave.
Right.
No, CR55 again will stick around and pilot the ship.
That's fair.
So it has a weapon to guard with now, at least.
Well, it's
That isn't just a hand axe or a longsword, so he has some niceness to him.
I mean, it seems with my attempt and apparently bad gas from the dragon, we're now a little better equipped to try to
Is
get
there a
Malthor.
place I can tinker with maybe some things to try and make like a hand grenade or something?
No.
I mean, we
knew that was coming. So it is a no, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
I assume
Uh,
Kips is probably in his lab. I know he was doing some work with some
Yes.
samples he took with
He's
the
gone. You have no
vampires.
idea where he is.
Right,
I-
but
I'd-
yeah, I'm just saying that out loud as
I
you know,
I
to
do
the
need to
group.
speak to him about the dragon egg I've acquired and see if he would know anything
What-
about it.
Would CR55 know anything about a dragon egg?
Nope.
I don't know.
He's old
No.
as fuck. That's why I'm asking.
No, he wouldn't.
Well-
Most of the heli wiped out what was left of the dragons. CR55 would have been
Well,
created much afterwards.
Actually, Cyrus, you seem to be somehow, and she kind of like glances between him and the dragon, communicating with the dragon here. Could you ask them how dragon eggs can be incubated, if possible?
A slot just opens on its chest. Please insert the egg.
Insert into incubator.
Insert- I don't think it'd be
yeah,
the chest
Cyrus-
part that opens.
You want to open up its
Cyrus
butt?
will
Jeez.
walk over to the
No,
dragon,
that's what DM would make it.
but then kind of away from the group, and through the link, we'll ask if it knows anything about incubating dragon eggs.
It seems to look at you with curiosity that it can.
So yeah, they'll walk back and say, "It's uncertain."
Right.
You could attempt
I-
to show it the dragon egg.
Right, that's what I was considering. Tikva, I assume was like getting a feel for the long sword, maybe lightly swinging it. She'll sheath it, carefully. I'm sure she got a quick feel for it. She's got levels in fighter, and she'll
So-
carefully pull out the dragon egg she's been keeping in her pack and hasn't like opened up since. And she'll pull it out. I don't know how large it is. I assume it's small enough to fit in the pack. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Can
And-
CR get to work and integrating Sunforge into himself somewhere?
I don't know how
So
far
it's
the
a slot
dragon
to
is.
carry.
I don't know that she gets much closer, but she'll like kind of hold it out for the dragon to see.
The dragon doesn't even seem to look at you.
Nice. I don't think it's interested.
I don't think so either.
Right.
Cyrus
when-
will drop the link.
When Tikva was looting the dragons and cutting them up, when she first felt the egg, grabbed the egg, when she thought it was a mysterious lump, did it feel cold or did it feel like room temperature?
No, it felt warm.
Felt warm?
Yep.
Like hot?
Yep.
Or
As you
Okay.
cut it out, it was steaming when to the touch.
then
Put it in the coals. It won't cook.
Yeah. Are the embers still hot?
Mm-hmm. Ember is always hot, apparently.
She'll carefully dig out with like a stick or something, like a small like little indent, and like carefully put it in there and monitor it to make sure it doesn't start like steaming or cooking.
Okay.
But she'll try to give it warmth. The only other option is for me to try to use firebolt without destroying it, and I don't believe in my luck. So embers it is.
Okay. All right. As the party begins to watch as Tikva lights an egg on fire.
No.
CR55 is going to be just keeping a watch out over the cliff for anything that shouldn't come this way.
All right. You
And
CR55.
Be attuning to
You
the Sunforger.
Okay. You still see that the main city of the Nords is on fire and smoking, and you can still
Yep.
hear screams on the
This
far
pleases
sensor.
me.
It's been doing it for days. It's
This
fine.
pleases me. This means that the filthy Nords have fallen.
And the egg continues to just sit there. Nothing happens.
I don't expect it.
An
But
hour
as long as I can
passes.
keep it warm.
2 hours
Oh.
pass. Nothing
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I think by the time we hit like full light,
Yeah.
Cyrus would
I'll head
probably
out.
want to say, "Yeah, we should probably get going."
Mhm.
'cause I'm
Tikva's
Assuming it'll
At this
be
just,
point,
better during
I'm
the light.
attuned to a fucking hammer.
yeah, Tikva's just gonna get it hot. Are the embers still hot after the 2 hours or no?
Yeah.
They are? Is there
Can I hand her
uh,
like a bucket?
a fireproof box I could put the egg and embers in to keep it
Wait a
warm?
minute. CR removes the shield from his chest and checks and sees if that's hollow enough.
His chest is hollow.
No. Cyrus, I assume we're going to be traveling by the ship. When we open up the ship, is there any containers there? I don't know what we have cargo-wise. I could place this in.
There appeared to be nothing when I was piloting.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything left. And I don't know if, as it grows and shrinks back down, if this would be considered cargo or not. so
Living
it
matter?
may destroy it.
Then, hang on. I'm trying to see if I have anything.
You don't. We already know you don't. Your one
Listen,
option is to shove it into my
listen.
chest.
No, it's not. It's not the only option. Listen. I'm looking at things right now. I'm looking at.
Wait a minute. There is one other option. How big is it?
I
Is it
don't
bigger
know.
than a? Is it bigger than a bullseye lantern?
I don't know. DM,
You know, I was
how big
thinking
is
the
it?
same thing, Royce.
What, a bullseye lantern?
Yeah.
How big's the egg?
It's bigger than a lantern.
I assume
Well, that
like
shoots that idea in
volleyball
the head.
basketball size.
This is a pretty good sized egg. Yeah, it's made of like
Yeah.
pure silver.
Right before we
CR
leave,
is just going to look at her and simply state, if there is no other way to keep it warm, you may stick it and the embers in my chest. We will be sure to find something more appropriate for it. as soon as possible.
Can
Fa-
it
or
be relied
Cyrus,
to not be
for a moment,
cracked and broken?
you
Yep.
feel the link reestablish, and you hear the dragon just say, "Yeah, I've buried things in many a people's chest," and then it breaks the link yet again.
How tough does the egg feel? Like, I know you said it's made of pure silver. Does it seem like if the Warforged were to get smacked violently in his chest by weapons, that the egg would hold out?
Good question.
Can I tell, like, looking at it and feeling it, how tough the egg might be?
Because we're stuck on this right now, I have a funny thing that I've been wanting to do.
Make a bucket.
No, Cyrus will ask Zaya, or sorry, will ask Tikva if
God damn it.
he can see the egg.
Can I sense his intent?
He wants to eat your
That
baby.
doesn't seem malicious
No,
at all.
no,
It's
I
just-
don't think I don't see why Tikva would be suspicious of Cyrus.
Yeah.
She'll kind of pull it from the embers. I assume with her fire resistance, even if it's hot, if she holds it like from the top, it doesn't bother her too much. Just tiefling crap. And she'll offer it out, like kind of looking at you, like, "Be careful. I just heated this bad boy."
Cyrus will take it, and he's just grabs it. Fire right now.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
going to affect him.
Yeah, you're immune. Tikva doesn't know that.
He will walk about 30-40 feet away and says, "Don't follow, just 1 second." He will cast while holding the egg fireball at his feet.
What? I'm right there.
No, I said I moved away.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't catch that part.
Okay.
CR's
In
watching
case
with
it needs
great
any
intent.
damage,
Is
would
it
be
better to have an egg or a baby dragon?
40 worth of damage if it matters.
Yeah, you take 20 points of force damage as you fly into the air from the fireball's explosion.
Can I try and catch him?
Yeah,
Freeze
force
the
damage.
egg.
No, you take no fire damage. You just take force damage as you get launched into the air and land on the ground hard.
So why did it do force?
Because you get launched
You
in
got
the air.
thrown.
Yeah, you're getting thrown in
It'd
the
be
air. That's why it's
bludgeoning.
force.
It'd be the equivalent of bludgeoning if you landed on the ground.
Right, but nothing in fireball does force damage. So
No, but launching it directly at your feet, you're launching yourself in the air, is what
You're
I'm stating.
propelling.
Yeah, that's where you're taking your
Fireball.
Heat
damage.
expansion
Like
of
a small
air.
explosion.
A fireball is just an area of effect.
Is it? Let me make sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reread the spell.
It's literally you pick a point and it's like it only does fire damage.
Let me check. I'm looking. Don't worry. I just gotta scroll through your spells. Takes me a minute.
Here I can.
I got it. Yeah, there it is. Fireball. It's an explosion of flame, is what it specifically states. So I will still say that you'll take 10 points of force damage as you're gonna get launched in the air slightly, because from that direct of an impact, you're shooting basically into your hands and it's hitting the ground. It's gonna launch you up a bit, which does mean yes, you could use this to propel yourself
Fly.
in the air in the future, if you have enough fireball spells.
Quick, we need the
Like
necklace of
like
fireball.
Minecraft Electra and the fireworks.
Electra.
Yes.
All right. Anyways,
Electra.
Cyrus, as you take the damage, you feel the egg kind of stutter a little bit and move, but
Oh,
then it
oh.
goes quiet. It stops moving. Nothing
Tikva
happens.
is watching
Can I-
from a safe distance, looking kind of confused. She sees you're all right, so she assumes you have resistance, but she looks very confused by why you did that.
Question: does Sunforger feel hot to the
No.
touch?
No.
No. Right.
Okay, then second idea: pulls the shield off my chest, opens it up a little bit so it's hollow,
You
and
don't have nerve
no,
endings.
no,
sets
I'm not-
hempen rope in there, and he's like,
no.
nest.
Tikva looks at you and says out loud, "No." And she'll
Sarah
walk
looks
over
down,
to Cyrus
dejected.
and hold her hands out. I'm not
Yeah,
putting an
Cyrus
egg in your chest.
Cyrus hands it back and said, "I think it
If-
will require much more heat."
Right. I don't want it hatching right now. I
What?
just want it warm enough to last the travel. And she'll wrap it in, I'm sure she's got cloth or like extra clothes. She'll just wrap it and put it back in her pouch to
CR
maintain heat.
hands you a clean set of clothes that are built for a Helio.
What? Why do you have clothes? You're a robot.
Do not ask. I also contain a bedroll. He turns around, pokes his sides, and a bedroll falls out his ass.
Wha-
I think
oh,
we should
that's
probably
Yeah,
figure
we'll
out where
go.
Kips
Yes.
is.
Right. His
Potentially see
pocket.
if he's got any info on
I know-
whatever he's studying and get heading towards getting Malthor.
Right. He has that pocket laboratory. I'm not sure if he closed the door, how to get in, if he's in there. I don't know if you had a little pocket dimension with your journal. I'm not sure if you'd know more about finding that than I would.
By the way, everybody, CR55 walks around and hands everybody a ration. They're old as fuck.
Hmm.
Okay.
How
DM
old?
Yes.
DM, you said
That's
the
up
ship
to-
was shrank, right?
Correct.
That's-
Okay.
Just
That's
sets
up
it
to Royce.
aside.
He will
decide
finally
that-
say
how
go
old.
and pop it back out and start boarding the ship.
Okay. As you do
CR55
so,
climbs aboard and heads straight to the helm
the ship
and
pops
waits
out.
for instructions.
Kips is still missing. As you guys begin to head aboard, the dragon kind of crawls itself next to it and prepares to take off. As the party begins, where are you heading?
Um, how? Because if we travel towards the Citadel, we'd
We're
get
gonna
there
get
for daylight,
combat.
right?
Sorry?
Well, if it's
Sorry?
daytime.
If we head towards the Citadel,
It's always dark. from
it
the
would still
smoke.
be day
Yes.
once we hit there, right?
Yes, but everything you can still see the dark clouds pretty much surrounding the entirety
Yeah,
of the
it's
Nordland.
Oh, yeah, I
basically
forgot.
dark all
Yep,
the
yep,
time.
Yep, I forgot that. The
So if we go to
Citadel
the
is dark right now.
Citadel, we'll be heading towards combat for sure, guaranteed. Down a healer. So I don't know if we want to keep heading for the hometown and make a base there until Kips is back, or
Yeah, but we don't want to leave Malthor for very long.
yeah.
So I think we
that's
figured
also
it's
a
a couple
thing.
days to my hometown. The
Citadel is
Little White
closer to
Meadow.
where you guys are currently. It will only
Yeah.
take you a
Yeah.
day's worth of travel to get there.
Yeah.
If
I
we did get into
have an
combat,
idea.
would Kips be an NPC there, or would it be no Kips?
If he's there.
Did he get kidnapped too?
Nope.
Where's the orb? Fenrir, pull out the orb.
CR says, I have an idea to be rid of the clouds, but it will involve CR02.
What is this idea? CR555.
Blast the clouds away. Strong enough area
Alright.
force should remove them sufficiently.
We will also be drawing lots of attention to ourselves, I'm sure.
Most likely. But in the middle of sunlight with undead, I prefer that over
Do
the alternatives.
we know how long the hollow spell lasts that Kips casted? I assume it's over by now.
It
on the
is
ship.
over
It
by now.
lasts a week.
Yep.
Mine lasts
A
a week. His, I think, does 30
Yeah.
days.
Oh.
30 days, yeah.
Is it?
Or
I'll
not
have to
30 days.
look.
I thought it was a hold. I thought it was 24 hours.
Or
With him-
mine's actually 10.
I'll look into it. But either way, as of current, you need to figure out where you want to go.
CR's waiting for commands on where to go.
Yeah. Tikva's looking towards Fenrir and Cyrus, seeing if they've got any ideas or information.
CR's going to simply state, if you do
I'm
not
just
give me a
Merc for
location to head
hire.
to, if you do not tell me a
until
location
dispelled.
to head to, I will head to straight to where we last discussed going.
I'm leaving it to the party. I don't know where we want to go.
I don't.
I mean,
I-
if we head to Cyrus's hometown, that's going to be multiple days worth of travel.
Mhm.
Answer
See
your
you
question.
could-
His spell
With
only lasts
Malthor.
24 hours.
Yeah.
That's the casting time.
Oh, you're right.
Duration is until dispelled.
You're correct.
So it basically makes like a graveyard, consecrated
Do
It's
we
graveyard.
know where
hallowed.
Malthor is?
Ground.
Yeah,
Yes,
you guys
it's
were
in
informed that he
Citadel.
was at the capital.
Yeah, through
Mhm.
the scry thing last time.
If we head towards the capital and we don't want to go in combat, we could theoretically make camp in the sky outside of it until next session. I'll propose to the party.
CR55 starts towards the
Not too confident
makes the
on
boat
it.
start heading towards the
No,
capital.
that was not in character, and last given
It's-
destination was the hometown.
Not to him, because you guys were talking about going to.
No, it was. We were heading towards the capital, not the capital. We were heading towards the hometown, and then we swung around to the mountains. If you're going based off past commands.
I mean, Cyrus's hometown, don't know what's there, could be nothing.
Yeah,
If
I
we
think we
spend
should head.
too
Yeah.
many more days, may not be recoverable.
Stop sending gifts and contribute to the conversation. This is out of
Fenrir
character.
already gave
You have no
his,
excuse.
Fenrir already gave his idea.
I didn't hear it.
It's because he gave it ages ago.
Remind us.
Restate it.
Like, I don't remember
Yeah.
what you
Okay.
said.
Okay, I'm back. Where did I cut out at?
Like a minute ago.
Several.
I suggested that we head back to the ruins of the old mansion, see if there's any trinkets left to fight off the vampires, make our life a bit easier.
Well, yeah,
That's
but that's
like
That is
weeks
secondary
and months.
option.
Long travel.
That's a lot of travel.
We need to rescue Malthor first, because he's gonna die if not.
If we do that, we leave Malthor behind.
Mm-hmm. And Cyrus's mentor, who could be a useful NPC. Hypothetically.
I'm aware of that out of character. In character, that's what he would have suggested.
Well, I guess. Oh,
Okay.
Who's
Fixed.
hello?
We CR55 head towards the Citadel.
Yeah.
CR55 continues to head towards the Citadel.
All right. And as the boat takes off, that's where we will pick up next time. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. We will catch you on the flip side. Also, as a special note for all those watching this D&D series, look forward to the session before Christmas. There will be a special session for the Rejected Potential, who will all be getting a special, specific session for themselves. Look forward to it.
What?
I'm planning something interesting. I will catch you all next time.
Question: will I have to play